We'll call this meeting to order. We'd like to go in closed session for reasons stated in the online agenda. Do we have a motion to go in closed session?
Motion to go in closed session?
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a proper second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. We will now be in closed session.
joining in their travel. Could you hug them? And it's not just service members feeling the love. Beautiful pattern. That's so nice. Helping out at children's hospitals and easing the stress of these college students during final week. And overseas too, from London to the streets of Slovenia. Their infectious smiles, brightening everyone's day. You're welcome. And right here tonight, Kevin, on their dedication to the mission. Anytime you walk away from, say, the Children's Hospital, and they're smiling, there's something powerful about that. Proving why their band's best friend. I'm Aaron Bruce, predictable.
Cats are too. Cats are too.
Thank you for the You all know selling your home can be stressful. It doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Marksman Real Estate and sell your home fast. Go to marksman.com and start backing. Back. At this event, the first end is yours. Just send a Capital Chevrolet track your deal your way. You get your vehicle and it's your turn. At this point, current Chevy owners get up to 24% You don't want to be clone got too soon. You are the one.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll move right down to recognitions. Good evening.
Good evening, Chair Atherton, Vice Chair Padilla, Dr. Jones, all members of the board and folks who are gathered here. As you know, the start to this whole school year has been busy and filled with lots of activities, and we're going to try to catch you up quickly and succinctly, but thoroughly on all the things that have been going on. And that means we're going to pick you up with the start of the school year in year-round calendar, Hillsborough Elementary School. As you saw in the abstract, we're just going to share a few images. You see the theme for the year is what they call Dolphins Diving Deep. And in order to help you get into the spirit of what's going on this year with the dolphin dialogue and how everything is happening in the Dolphin Pod, we have asked our Assistant Principal Alexis McGill to be here. Principal Jessica Naj couldn't be with us this evening, but Ms. McGill is going to share a little bit about what it means to dive deep and maybe take 1 minute to tell you what's been going with the school year as a lot of new staff and new students have been coming into the community.
Hi, good evening. So Dolphins Diving Deep, we are diving deep into relationships, into instruction, learning, everything that we're doing. We're going deeper, and that includes going into explicit instruction. Our teachers this year have really hit the ground running. They're meeting with their PLCs and looking at data and tracking student progress, and we've already seen some great things happening.
Ms. McGill was excited to tell us that there aren't any staff openings, which is a really exciting way to start the school year as well. And when we get to the last picture in the bunch, I think you might see what Dolphins Diving Deep means and dolphin dialogue. I think it's that picture right there, Mr. Miller, thank you. You know, instead of just saying something and walking on or expecting people to listen to you, there's been a push to ask students and staff alike to explain why they think something is so important and really cultivating this spirit of listening and mutuality. So we're excited. Thank you, Mrs. McGill, for bringing this, and we're excited to share that the start of the school year has been smooth at year-round Hillsborough Elementary School. There's been a lot of activity. Dr. Jones and others have been doing walkthroughs. There have been some celebrity visits as well that you'll be seeing in the coming days and weeks, and so we're excited. Back to school fair. Again, just a very quick review because we know you have a long agenda this evening, but we are excited to celebrate the first ever Back to School Fair in Orange County Schools. On Saturday, August 9th, we were very, very proud and pleased through the leadership of the Family and Community Engagement Committee, Ms. Kim DeGraffenried, Dr. Jessica Dreher, Dr. Lanier's team, many people contributed, and there were presenters in dozens of sessions over the course of a day between 12 and 4 o'clock on a very exciting day. All told, there were almost 300 individuals who either registered or attended, and that meant that there was so much interest being shown. Those 300 individuals actually represented 750 or more students in the district. And so anyone who came during the day saw the activity, saw the positivity, and this is in the same spirit as the Preparing for Middle School event, which was back in March, where we had 350 middle school students and their families coming out literally just to learn more about transitioning to middle school. And so in the spirit of helping families and our community, because this event was open to everyone in the entire community, any family, regardless of their residence, regardless of their enrollment status, regardless of age, any family, children, and adults could come and participate and just get to know what's happening in Orange County schools. And they did. We had people representing homeschool, representing private schools, representing charter schools coming from outside the county, a really exciting opportunity for us. And so we're looking forward to more and more engagement activities like this because the Family and Community Engagement Committee has brought together a huge calendar of events that you're going to be hearing about more and more this year. So just celebrating the fact that that is designed to spur energy for open house, which is coming up on August 21st. And as you see in the abstract, and we encourage everyone to keep following this material on your page on Assembly, we want to remind everyone that elementary school open house is from 4:30 to 6:30 Thursday night. Middle school open house is from 5 to 7. High school open house is from 5:30 to 7:30. And you can find all of this information. We risk repeating ourselves because we've emailed it a few times to our community, but we want to remind everyone the Back to School Guide is your best source of information. And you can go anytime you want, 24/7, to orangecountyfirst.com/back-to-school. And you'll find many things that are clearly helpful there because the response has been hugely positive. So thanks for letting us share that update with you. Finally, Mrs. Rath, we want to call out the finance team because congratulations are in order and leadership really does matter. Under the leadership of Chief Finance Officer Rhonda Rath, the finance team has earned the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting for their fiscal year 2024 annual comprehensive financial report given out by ASBO, the Association of School Business Officials International. And it's a big deal because not everyone who applies wins. There are 3 results when you apply for this certificate. You could be awarded the certificate, you could be granted a provisional or conditional certificate with things to correct, or you could be denied. Orange County Schools earned the certificate and has earned it for a number of years in a row. In fact, we kept looking back and I don't think we didn't find the bottom. So hugely proud of the finance team. because you have to prepare your financial statements following GAAP, right? The generally accepted accounting principles, issue that report and submit it for evaluation in this rigorous program. The letter had a quote that we wanted to share with everyone, and we sent it to the news because we think this is really important for folks to hear. Your continued participation in the Certificate of Excellence program is a testament to your district's commitment to transparency and high-quality financial reporting. And it's an objective program. These are reviewed by school finance professionals who are experts in their field, and reviewers can't be from the same state. So this is a really important process that testifies to the work of the finance team and the overall approach of the district. So we want to recognize and ask you to recognize Mrs. Rath and the finance team for their award earned in service to Orange County Schools and to the whole community. Thank you. Those are our recognitions this evening. Thank you.
Yeah, I would just like to add, our district wouldn't be in the financial stability without your guidance and your support of all of your staff. With hearing about all the challenges in every other district, I just want to express gratitude for what you do and making it transparent for all of us to understand and the trade-offs of anything we look at.
I appreciate that, and I just want to come up here tonight to say it is not me. It takes all of us, and that includes you as well as all of my colleagues, as well as everyone who is in the district. So this award is all of us. So we have a great district, we have a great finance team, and thank you. But again, congratulations goes to all of us.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Next, we have our agenda adoption. I do know pulling the board committee structure to make a minor change. Are there other items to
To
pull?
pull the finance, 5 and 6 off consent, that was the budget. Let's see, 5 is the budget approval, and the second, 6 is the federal programs.
All right. Board, are you okay adding those items directly after approving consent? Hearing no concern, we will move those to right after approving the consent agenda, 3, 5, and 6. All right, do we have a motion to approve the agenda with those changes?
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Ms. Padilla, do we have any public comments tonight?
We do not have any public comments.
All right, thank you. We'll move on. Over to board comments. Ms. Hauser, would you like to start us off?
Sure. First, I just wanted to start by welcoming back our students, teachers, and staff, and I hope everybody had an incredible summer. Orange County Schools is clearly in full swing. Mr. Smith mentioned the back-to-school event, which was fantastic. We had the Summer Careers Academy graduation, dolphins diving deep. I mean, these are great things, but it all came together today at the OCS STARS Conference, and I would just say I could not be prouder to be in service to Orange County Schools after today. It was great to see all the Orange County School stars in one place, supported by community sponsors. And I just had to do a little shout out to Grace Church, who upgraded our AV system, and it made it possible, and we were sure that everybody heard every important word that was said. It was fantastic. And then the Han Education Company, who gave a $20,000 classroom makeover to one of our teachers. And there was even a little trailer outside that had samples of everything, so some of us had a little shopping trip during the conference. So it was great. So it was a great day for Orange County Schools.
Thank you. Ms. Purcell?
Well, I would like to reiterate what Ms. Hauser said. That was an absolutely fantastic day there, and I appreciate all the hard work that our leadership team and Dr. Jones has done to get this up and running and there today. It was absolutely phenomenal. I would also like to give a shout out to our summer careers graduation that we had on August the 7th. We had about 15 students that graduated after working with various companies during the summer, getting experience, some of them getting jobs that are hopefully coming when they finish school, or if they had already finished school. That was exciting to see, and I enjoyed being a part of that. And I'd just like to say welcome back to school to everybody. It is a fun time of year. I remember the excitement and the apprehension that comes with it, but it is also a really great time of the year, great time to be an educator, great time to be a student, because it's starting something new, and it's new for everybody, and everybody's excited. So welcome back to everybody, and thank you for what you do.
Summer went by really fast, but today was great at the Stars of Education Conference, and I just wanted to appreciate some of the messages from the speakers at the morning session. Dr. Jones, you and Mr. Johnson both, well, I really appreciated that you spoke about collective teacher efficacy as the thing that makes the biggest difference for students, which is really about groups of teachers working together, believing that it is possible for them to impact every single student in their classrooms, and then working together to figure out how to do that. Just really appreciated you calling that out, and the energy in the room was very positive, and I hope we see lots of collective teacher efficacy this year. So happy back to school, everybody.
Thank you. Some of the same things that other people mentioned. A couple schools I got to see at different points this summer. I just want to give a shout out to our operations team. And it's exciting to see things come to completion, like the renovation of the band room and that whole wing at Orange High School, and just see schools ready to receive students. And just hear how responsive staff has been to students with situations over the summer. And we had a great board retreat. I found that to be a really constructive time together. And also I got to go to the fair. I thought the fair was excellent. It was really robust. And there were so many different groups represented at tables and engaging people who were there. As well as I was really inspired this morning at the Stars of Education kickoff. So just a lot of positive energy that I think really reflects well on the work that's being done in our district. So hoping everyone has a great start to their year.
Excellent.
Yes, I attended a lot of the events that they were mentioned today, and I want to say this morning I was super pumped and inspired by the speeches, and I will share the sections that were not mentioned that I attended. They're all community-based. I attended a gala with Leela over the weekend that supports the LGBTQ plus AI. Their main focus is supporting the Latinx community and their families. I also enjoyed the board retreat. I thought it was we are going to learn to work better together, which is exciting. I attended the Orange County Opioid Settlement annual meeting on Saturday. Also, I went with Bonnie. Bonnie worked really hard the Eflin Back to School Bash, which was fun. And I attended the virtual chair and vice chair for the whole state of North Carolina with the chair. And I'd like to share something. It is an honor to be the vice chair for this 2025-2026 school year. I look forward to collaborate in finding ways to empower our community in our student body, and let's make it a great year. Thank you.
Thank you. So just wanted to start by saying thank you, HES. You've already started the year, got us going. It was great to see the teachers, as everyone mentioned, at the Stars of Education Conference. I just wanted to thank staff for all the hard work putting that on. It shows. I remember the first version of that and how much it's evolved, and just the energy and excitement and talking to staff and hearing every event they wanted to go to, what they were going to learn, whether they were teaching in it or whether they were there to learn. And there was a lot of excitement around the new math curriculum and how that's going to fit, and was really excited to see that. And also all the different areas for all staff. I really enjoyed seeing that. So thank you all for everyone that put that on and helped put it together. I did want to mention as well the Orange High School renovations. Very impressive. I just want to mention the field house. That has been long overdue. It is great to see that that has been brought up to date. The cafeteria looks really nice. All the painting in there. The band room looks larger. I think it'll be a lot easier to get in and out of. And also the student area. Now they have a nice area right outside where they can gather, have their lunch. So it's really nice to see a lot of those improvements. I do know we had lots of other improvements at schools, and really excited to hear about those. I also just wanted to share the appreciation of the board retreat, everyone coming in and sharing their thoughts and ideas around how we can work better together, and really appreciate the time of staff coming in and talking about our strategic plan. This is the last year of it, and how we're going to engage the community and ensure that our next strategic plan is our community's plan as well. So with that, thank you all for coming tonight as well. All right. Superintendent.
Good evening, Chair Atherton, Vice Chair Padilla, members of the board, students, staff, and community members. Well, as you have heard, it is an exciting time in Orange County schools, and we have had lots of great events. Thank you, Ms. McGill, for being here to represent HES. They have had a wonderful opening. We are excited about all the work that they are doing to dive deep for the students that they support. We've also, you've mentioned the back to school fair. I was very pleasantly surprised. I brought my daughter, who was here from out of town, and she enjoyed herself very much as well. But that took a lot of work from staff, along with today's event with our Stars of Education. And so I just really want to thank all of the staff for just being considerate and mindful of all of the things that our teachers and staff have asked for. Today's event was professional development for every single staff member in our district, to be able to support the students in this community better. And so I just really appreciate the intentionality around that and all of the work that it took. We did have a lot of great sponsors, and so I think I've said before that this Orange County Schools is very unique, and when the community needs to come together, they come together. And so we're looking forward to that positive energy going throughout this school year. This is what is going to be the best year yet for Orange County Schools that we're walking into. I do want to reiterate that this fall we are going to begin the year-long process of looking at our strategic plan again and aligning our goals and priorities. There will be lots of opportunity for our community to engage with that, for our students to engage with us and our staff. So we're very excited about that and crafting that so that that can set the stage for the next 5 years of what we hope to accomplish. And And we're also looking to engage our community on these bond projects that are coming up, especially the new school. Very excited about that. It is a process. It's going to take a minute. It won't be here next year. But we're excited to get thoughts and ideas from our community. It has been a productive summer. It's going to be a great school year. We're off to a great start. And I'm just super proud of the staff and all of the work that they have done. I wanted to thank Ms. Rath for all of her hard work. If you want to hear no a couple of times, walk into her office. She'll tell you. We can't do that right now, but and it takes a lot of courage to tell me that. Yeah. So thank you, Ms. Rath, for your leadership in our finance department. And that concludes my comments. I do want to just thank the board for a great retreat and for all of your support and for being here today to support our Stars of Ed conference and the Back to School Fair. It's great for people to see you out and support in that way. And you said, the retreat was to help you to work better together, but I think you are really doing a great job of that, and I appreciate it as your superintendent. That concludes my comments.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. All right, we're now at our consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any objections? All right, motion carries. We have next the board committee structure. I would just like to add Ms. Wendy Padilla to the Family Success Alliance, as it was a mistake missing from that. So I'd like to recommend that change to the board committee structure. Do we have a motion or any further discussion on approving that?
Motion to approve?
We have a motion with the change. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the FY 2026 final budget approval, budget resolution. Ms. Hauser?
Yeah, I pulled this. I just am incredibly grateful to Mrs. Rath for our budget. And, Mr. Atherton mentioned one part of it. The other part is that our staff, it creates a very stable and predictable environment for our staff. And if you talk to staff in other districts, you'll learn what it's like to not have Mrs. Rath at the helm. So, so if you look at the consent agenda, Mrs. Rath is asking us to approve the budget tonight without a state budget approved. And I thought it was important for you to just give us a minute on why that's important to do that, and what does it allow you to do that you wouldn't be able to do without the budget.
Sure. So this allows us to put a pin in the map, for lack of a better term, as a starting point for the district for going forward as far as a fund spending plan goes. We know what our funds are from our local appropriation. We are operating up under the continuation budget and the mini bill that was just passed from the state. Should our legislators come back into session and pass further legislation after you have approved your budget this evening, we will just amend your budget going forward. So again, this is a starting point for us to be able to start as our spending plan going forward for this fiscal year.
Yeah, thank you. And just to clarify, this will allow you to implement salary increases, so years of service increases that our staff gets, but of course we know the state has not provided any raises.
So the mini budget bill did allow for the step increase only. So that is what that state mini budget bill implemented, which we will then move forward with implementing as well. It will also allow us to implement the classified 0.3% step increase that is in our local classified scales. It will allow us to do that as well.
So bare minimum, but it allows us to do something. I appreciate that. You mentioned, there's two questions about fund balance. You mentioned a capital fund balance, and I had actually never seen that before, never noticed it before. What is that, and how much money do we have in it, and is it encumbered? And also, what happened to our operating fund balance?
So we have fund balance in both. So for lack of a better term, you have a savings account that is in your operating, and you also have one that is associated with your capital. The capital is roughly $1.8 million is what is there currently. That balance has been at that for a good little period of time. It's basically from those recurring capital items in previous years where we received those funds and they weren't spent in the year, and so they were rolled into fund balance.
Do we have a requirement to keep that, or could we, if there was a need, could we use the capital fund balance?
So you can use the capital fund balance for one-time expenditures. There is not a requirement to keep it. I would just heed caution.
Yes, we like that. We like that. And then on the operating fund balance, where is that?
So we're in the process of closing out our fiscal year currently that ended on June the 30th. So basically not getting too much in the weeds, but we continue to receive invoices from our vendors all the way up to now that even precede the work that was done in June. So we have to apply those to last fiscal year. So until our audit is complete, that continues to happen. So we won't really know what our fund balance is until our audit is totally complete. We ended last fiscal year with approximately $3 million as our fund balance. I am anticipating that you will put money back in fund balance this fiscal year.
Okay, thank you. I have
All right, can we get a motion to approve?
motion to approve.
Can we get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Rath. All right, next we have the federal grants program consolidation applications for Title I, II, III, and IV. Ms. Hauser?
Yeah, just some really simple questions. And of course, thank goodness the federal government has not frozen those funds, and we are getting all of them, correct?
That is correct. That has been released, the ones that were frozen.
Yeah, so they're a little bit less than they were in prior years, and all of them were, and it's all in the agenda packet. I'm just curious why they're declining.
I'm going to interject a little bit, and then I'm going to let her step in. So last year, if you'll recall, a lot of our federal budgets did have ESSER still in them, and a lot of ESSER carryover. So our federal budget was higher last year when you're, comparing it to a previous year, because ESSER expired in September 30th of 2024. So that's your primary difference when you're looking at your federal budgets. And then, of course, as the narrative has said, we are seeing those other budgets decrease. And so that is a result of where we are now. But the primary decrease is associated with those ESSER funds that are not there any longer.
Also, thinking about federal funds are budgeted across the whole nation and across our state. And so how other districts are doing in our state as far as their growth in poverty or their growth in EL, even if the same amount is allocated across the state, when different areas go up and down, it will impact our funding because it's a piece of the whole. So that happens nationwide and also statewide. And so we'll see fluctuations in our funding, federal funding, due to the demand load across the whole system, as well as our enrollment.
Got it. Thank you. That's very helpful. So we should expect, this to continue?
So I would say that, I would say that every year it's a depends answer, right? We do see that federal funds in Title II and Title IV are decreasing. They're not being funded at the rate that they were previously, while Title I is holding pretty steady. We're not sure about Title III after this year, so we'll just have to see. So every year is a depends in terms of what's being allocated. And then again, across the whole system as it's distributed, the rates of, if another district in our area or in our state is growing more rapidly, even though we're growing, we may see funds decrease because of the load on the system in another area. That makes sense.
Interesting. And just one other question, this is really helpful. On our CEP schools, the free and reduced lunch percentages are very high. Is that because they're CEP schools?
Yes, that is why.
Got it. All right. I have no other questions.
All right, can we get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Get a second? Second. All right, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We're now down to our work session, starting with our bond and capital planning update.
Good evening, Chair Atherton, Vice Chair Padilla, Frederick Davis Operations. I just want to narrate and set the stage before we have our subject matter experts come and do the presentation. Tonight before you is kind of an anchor. This presentation is intended for the board and the community with a high-level approach or roadmap for the next 3 to 4 years, as Dr. Jones has indicated, on a strategic journey toward building a more efficient, sustainable, and right-sized school district. Today's discussion focuses on immediate next steps, project proposals, and a part of the broader phase effort that includes modernizing school facilities to support student learning and evolving instructional needs, right-sizing our infrastructure to align with current and projected enrollment patterns, maximizing the impact of limited capital resources by prioritizing investments with the greatest long-term benefit, increasing operational efficiency across the district through more intentional use of space and resources. Again, over the next several years, we'll move from planning, design, to implementation and construction, guided by data, community input, and ongoing board engagement. This is a long-term effort, and today's presentation is meant to be an anchor to the path ahead. We did receive those questions from Dr. Jones. They had some specificity in their answers, and I hope that the presentation will clear those up. However, if there are detailed questions after the presentation led by Mr. Hess, I will come back to answer any of those questions that you may have. With that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Hess. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Chair, Vice Chair, members of the board, Dr. Jones, and the staff and community, thank you. My name is Steve Hess, and I'm honored to be here tonight, and we're going to provide a brief update on capital improvement plans for the next year. So we have 4 initiatives for the 2024 bond that we're working on this fall. The first initiative is the school attendance zone. We have engaged with ORED, who will speak in a few minutes, to restart their study of school attendance zones with an engaged look at understanding the impact of the new Gravelly Hill Elementary School, and also incorporate the Wolpert study. So what they'll be doing is looking at attendance zones across the facilities, across the portfolio, but specifically the impact of the new elementary school as well to help us guide our decisions. And that information will also be used later on when we engage a design team for the master plan of the overall portfolio. The second initiative that we're taking is a new elementary school at Gravelly Hill RFQ, a request for qualifications for a design team to design the new elementary school. We anticipate having that RFQ out to the public per state procedures in September, shortlisting and interviewing and selecting a team in November to begin the design process and the public engagement process for the new elementary school at Gravelly Hill. The third initiative is a project management RFQ. That will be an RFQ for project management and some staff augmentation for the facilities team to help administer the design processes for the new elementary school and for the master plan portfolio, as well as capital improvement projects for the rest of the year. And then the fourth initiative is a portfolio management RFQ. So the process or the intent of the portfolio management RFQ, as we have talked about in the past, is to bring on a design team to look at the rest of the portfolio, with the tent pole being Gravelly Hill Elementary School, and figuring out how to best allocate the remaining 2024 bonds to efficiently improve our facilities across the portfolio. And that team will work hand in glove with the ORED team to make sure that we're, aligning school attendance zones with facility condition assessments of projects. Let's see. In the short term, for 2025, 2026 CIP planning, we're focusing on bundling projects that are informed by the facility condition assessments. And we want to bundle these projects to provide a greater efficiency in cost and time for our team. And what our guiding priorities are comfort, safety, and service for the students and staff of Orange County Schools. So comfort, we're looking at roofing projects and HVAC projects primarily. Safety, security vestibules, life safety systems, fire alarm, and electrical upgrades. And then for service, we're looking at the media center at AL Standback and Orange Middle School improvements, as well as the AL Standback Middle School track in conjunction with the other two tracks. We've spoken with the athletic director, and we have a plan in place to bundle those projects. So. And then what I'm going to do now is introduce Mr. Palmer from ORED to talk about how schools and communities can work together. Mr. Palmer? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hess, and good evening, Chair Atherton, Vice Chair Padilla, Dr. Jones, and members of the board, as well as the OCS community. ORED is a public service planning consultancy. We're housed at NC State University. With me tonight are Mr. Thomas Dudley, as well as Mr. Brian Godfrey. I wanted to just give you a general sense of how we work between schools and communities to get it right. We have been working with Orange County, our team, for almost the past decade. And one of the things that we've talked long about is the growth for student enrollment in Orange County schools, with particular emphasis on certain areas of the county that are growing rapidly. In so doing, when we look at that enrollment forecast, oftentimes the simplest way to think about planning for schools is a fraction of a numerator and a denominator. In the numerator, we have kids, our students, our young ones, all the way from kindergarten on through high school graduation. In the denominator are the capacities, those fixed assets of your buildings and your schools. So what we do within NC State, within ORED, is we look at both the numerator, denominator from a perspective of, for student enrollment, not only who has enrolled, who's in the system today, but who is likely to be so over the next 10 years. To, if you will, meet the puck where it's going, not just look at today's snapshot enrollment or the number of births that you had 5 years ago, particularly given that it was a COVID year, right? We have to be looking at not only who is currently in OCS, but who's going to be here in 10 years to make sure that the number of seats, that denominator, matches the numerator. On the denominator side, one of the things that we're looking at with Orange County Schools is the development of a classroom database. That's across all campuses. And what that will do is bring in those attributes from some of the work that you've already done. We don't want to spend time or your effort being redundant. We really want to build on the efforts that have already been deposited on behalf of Orange County Schools. That includes working with your academic leadership as well as operational leadership to make sure with absolute certainty that the buildings fit not only the students, but your academic programs, right? Make sure that we have the proper spaces for all of your specialized programs, whether that's EC, ESL, AIG, really looking at your instructional pedagogy and how you're teaching. So those two factors, how many students and how many seats, sounds so simple, and you all know it's not, right? In particular, the many layers of consideration and regulatory compliance you have here in Orange County. We are here to be your partners through the journey to fit together not only at a district level, not only at a school level, but at a classroom and grade cohort level. HB 90 in that class size is a huge indicator of your actual capacities by grade. That gets us into the right side of this slide, and we're trying to take a lot of material and put it in one slide, but it does help to have a conversation about where we're trying to get, which is making sure that we've helped you all fully and completely identify the problems that you're trying to solve. Oftentimes in public education, it's essential that we have the issue fully and transparently tacked down to say, these are the things that we're trying to do. These are the options that we have. There can be conversation on both ends about the problems we're trying to solve, as well as the solutions that are in your toolbox to solve those problems. Those solutions might include the adjustment of school boundaries, which has been a conversation in Orange County for some time. Modification of facilities, that's thinking about what is not only the seated capacity of a school, but what is the core capacity? Thinking of car queue, thinking of the size of your cafeteria, thinking about all of the attributes of those school buildings to make sure that the schools in Orange County are designed, planned, and built under Mr. Davis's leadership, as well as that of Dr. Jones, to support academic instruction under Dr. Pack. This is really a team approach that we bring to you tonight. And ultimately, that does help inform the allocation of those capital funds, recognizing that of the many responsibilities you have as a board, your fiscal stewardship, stable hands on the steering wheel, if you will, for the county and our kids, is what we're all here for. So we're here to bring you good information, make sure that the problems you're trying to solve and tackle as a community are clearly laid out, the options are there with them, and to really bring some of the best work in the country here to Orange County Schools. I think with that, Mr. Hess, I believe you're still here, Mr. Davis as well, but our team is here. This is, again, an overview of the services that we provide, and here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer. And with that, I know you're itching to ask questions, but just want to reiterate, under Dr. Jones's leadership, I spent quite some time with her last week. We are working on a cadence. This is all a part of a strategic goal of the board and the community. And the end game is a right-sized, efficient, excellent school district in the name of facility utilization. I am certain that you will be the envy of the state when it comes to board leadership, dealing with these tasks, a new school, and right-sizing your district. And so while we have a lot of questions posed in terms of specificity and details, tonight we just want to lay out the groundwork, breadcrumbs to the end, which will be in 3 to 4 years from now. So any questions you have at this time, we'll answer.
I'll let others go.
Sarah?
Thank you. Okay, so let me go back. I think my question, it's probably for you, Mr. Davis, I'm not sure. I'm thinking about the various initiatives and the various RFQs, and sort of an overarching question I have, there's a new elementary design. Mr. Hess talked about what other uses to put the bond money to, and the original, uses that the county set out for us were 2 new buildings and like a major addition or restructure of one. And so I'm a little concerned that we're talking about, it sounds like one school and potentially projects at the other. I know we don't know yet. Right? But it leads me to like, how are we, as we are putting out these RFQs for the new elementary, the project management, and the portfolio master plan, what strategies are we using to build in cost control? Like, how are we controlling costs intentionally, and how we're even pursuing each of those things or the set of things so that we have enough money left to do big work with it beyond the one elementary school?
Yes, thank you for that question. And so the main goal was what would be the first priority out of the bond, and the board established that the new elementary school would be that priority. And so once we set the parameters to establish that budget, that would be a fixed cost in which we will aim to provide a new school under that fixed cost budget. But because we know that time, scope, and money change, we want to make sure that we effectively plan the next round of projects that will include or have some metamorphosis on how much the money will go. And so I will say at this point, the goal is to make improvements to our secondary schools and other major life cycles throughout the district. However, if we don't plan, we won't be able to adjust to the global economy that may limit some of those much needed asks that we set out to do, if that answers your question.
So is it, how are we sort of aiming to control cost with the elementary school project in particular?
Yes, so one of the things that we're doing is working on educational specifications mirrored with DPI, which is state guidance, along with our community and our board impact to have us, one, utilization efficiency in terms of energy efficiency. These things go into our master specs. They provide a guideline to our designers and our construction manager at risk to really make sure that our CCAP, which our construction budget, stays within the threshold of what we're setting to do. So getting a design team in early and also getting a construction manager team in early will help ensure that we can stay within that budgetary item for the new school.
Okay, and then you're saying that doing the sort of master planning is a strategy for maximizing the rest
In
of the
some
money that we have
districts,
left.
you would see, we just figure out the new elementary school and see whatever monies are available to then plan for the remainder. But what we're doing is planning simultaneously with the redistricting so that we're able to touch a multitude of schools in some way so that all communities ensure capital expenditure.
Okay, I'll just be careful on that. I'll just say like that last point, I resonate with, and the commissioners were like, big projects, not touch every school, was their general orientation. And I think you know that, and so, yeah, but we'll have to do what we can with the money that we have. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback on that because we've been on this road before and it didn't go so well for us. But an expectation was created with the voters and who just got their tax bills, but the voters who approved the bond, that the bond money, the commissioner said they would allocate a certain amount of funding for maintenance and maintaining all our schools, a portfolio of schools, but that the bond money would be used for major renovations to outdated schools. And there was an expectation, again, we don't have the details, we have a report, but what the reviews that were done of our schools said that some of our schools were really beyond being maintainable and that they needed to be replaced. And so how are we gonna, with the portfolio, how are you gonna revisit the state of our schools and this conversation with the commissioners?
Yes, so we're in constant dialogue with the county manager. We actually are working together on how to provide the information to answer and address some of those questions with the community. I will say that Dr. Jones has put together an exceptional team that has built numerous schools in a short period of time. And so while it may be new to some, we're in a good position here in Orange County to get this done right. I'm not answering your question, not because I don't know, I just don't want to spill the beans. You want to look to the end of the story, we're developing the story. And so I can say that, yes, we are following all the things that we have to do to be successful.
It's just a simple concern that the county wants us to start replacing old schools, and if we're not going to do that, or will we get readouts along the way so that we know what you're learning about our schools, and if the plans change, how will the board be updated?
Yes, so in our strategic board retreat, we set out cadence of information that you will receive. And in those meetings, we'll provide those much-needed updates as well as decision-making to the board so that you're constantly informed, so that when it's time for you to make a decision, you have all the data to make that decision. So yes, we set out, we're working with Dr. Jones, and I have worked to make sure that you have the appropriate information at the appropriate cadence, all along knowing that the end result is going to take 3 to 4 years. And so I think some of the questions that we're asking tonight, we can't answer until we go through the process. But you can be assured that, yes, we will.
Okay.
Mr. Davis, I want to thank you and your team for working on this. I know that we have to be patient, and I'm glad you're working with the CD manager, so everyone is aware as to what we're doing, and thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Sarah?
I have a question I think is ORAD related. So I've had the fortune of being on the board for going on 8 years now. And so I've been through several partnerships with ORAD and trying to work towards getting some redistricting, boundaries changed and school reassignment happen. I guess I'm curious, like what might be different this time? And also the one thing that struck me last time that I think might have been challenging in sort of the ways that you approach the boundaries is there are like 2 things that I think the board has brought up various times. One is sort of a desire to balance student achievement across the different schools and sort of have some consideration of that. And then the other one is wanting to make sure also that we're really efficient with the bus routes and minimizing the time that the kids are on the buses and trying to achieve both of those things. And so I think at one of these rounds, we were sort of asking about like, well, how long will the bus routes be? And can you test out some other ones and see if there's a more efficient way to do and it seemed like there were some limitations there and sort of what we were able to do with that. So I guess I'm just wondering how that piece would play out, and are those both things that when we go through this process, we'd be able to make sure that we were maximizing?
So I can just speak briefly. I do have some history, and that question resolved around that transportation was not at the table the last iteration. And so we've identified that along with some other key essential personnel that weren't at the table when crafting what reboundaries or redistricting may look like. And so that's a lesson learned that I can assure you will play into the modeling that ORAD will do. In fact, we had a conversation just last week to that effect that transportation was not at the table. So there will be, to your question, academics, transportation, all those that support the school will be involved in the planning with the ORAD study this time.
I'm very glad to hear that. So will you all be able to work like with the TIMS information or like directly to sort of play out some different models or?
Absolutely, and I appreciate that question. We're in I think a really great space at the beginning of the school year and at this time in the history of my organization, because we do have such a strong team together now to be able to address exactly the questions that you're alluding to. So speaking to the busing efficiency and logistics point, that was something, 2016, 2017. We did some exploration with the TIM support staff that are also part of our office. And that was not revisited as part of the most recent iteration, but we now have an excellent opportunity to be able to also include that as part of this go-around.
Great.
So I definitely appreciate that. from a technical perspective, also looking at the achievement side, very comfortable and looking forward to that component as well and being able to achieve your goals. Absolutely.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I was very interested in your comments about programming. And after we terminated the redistricting work last time, Dr. Jones and her team did a deep dive into how our schools are being used. And what we found is some of the schools that, quote, look underutilized actually had some deep programming in them, like separate setting EC, pre-K classes, and others that use a lot of space. And we're curious if you'll be looking at, and that was something that was really missing for our board. We ask all the time. It was missing from SAFO, as you know. Will you be looking at that?
Yes.
Easy question, okay. And then the utilization data because there was some questions that were raised because, you guys were projecting, excuse me, that's a New York term. You all were projecting a increase in enrollment. And when Mr. Davis and his team looked at utilization, they actually saw a decrease in enrollment. And just curious how, and so there was some data that was attached, and we have a year-round school that's a choice school that's actually as many as we have a wait list for. So how does that get factored into this?
I'm going to ask, yes, thank you.
So as part of our iterative process, looking from project to project and year to year, we take a very deep dive, a very deep look at how cohorts are moving up through the system, where there were, for lack of a better word, errors in the forecast. And just looking back at some of the historical forecasts and things, we are looking forward to diving into that very granular data and learning exactly, where things didn't align exactly the way we thought they were going to. So I think that is one of those points in the process questions where we aren't prepared to dive into that to the extent, but I'm definitely personally looking forward to diving into that data and understanding the why behind why the numbers don't exactly align with where we thought they were going to.
Thank you.
Just to build on that, I had a similar question about the utilization table, and I assume charter school pullouts were incorporated in there? I mean, did you all, were you just looking at population and not assuming students were leaving, or what were some of the factors, or do you not know yet?
So looking back at the most recent utilization table, the out-of-capacity table, which is the school level forecast, the big difference there that you'll notice compared with other consultants' work in the time since was the official application and approval of the charter school on the western side. So looking forward, that's a reality that's going to be incorporated into any further work.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just have when we get the proposals on the different projects, will they include a timeline and an explanation of of community engagement and how that will work and board engagement?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I hope so.
I just had one additional question. Many of mine were answered. One question is, do we know if we need to do any rezoning?
Zoning in terms of the property.
Gravel Hill, yeah.
Yeah, so we're working with the county planning side, and I met, and we're meeting again. It will be some interesting collaboration, but I think it'll be successful. We are tying into their capital improvement plan with improvements to the soccer park. And so we hope to build on those synergies. We're looking at the whole landscape, including Gravelly Hill Middle and the soccer field, our existing. So yes, there'll be some rezoning and some moving, but we are lucky to have a partner in the county that has interest. So I don't think that would be an issue for us.
Okay, that's
But we're
great.
working on that now, so that by the time the school is built, it'll be right size and right zoned.
That's fantastic to hear. I know we had some issues with them on a pole barn, trying to get that through and all the state
Opportunities.
steps.
Yeah, we're learning, but
we all
we're still
learn.
doing some good work, so.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for the presentation. Thank you for your time tonight. And as always, we look forward to seeing the progress and having further discussions. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, next, we have our student wellness update.
Good evening. Good evening. Sorry about that. It's been a long day, but wow, what a great day to be in Orange County Schools today. What a day. It was fantastic. If you came out and joined us, it's fantastic things going on. In fact, what a great summer. This is my first summer here, and it has been incredible. I will say that. I've been in 2 other districts, and this was an incredible summer this year. Dr. Pack told me early on, she said, oh, no more summers off for you. You're no longer a teacher. You're on board. And boy, was she right. And it's been very exciting. So I'm privileged to stand here tonight and give you a little student wellness update. As you are aware, student wellness in policy 6140 consists of 5 elements: student health advisory council, as well as nutritional promotion, nutritional education, nutritional standards and guidelines, physical education and physical activity, and really any activity that promotes wellness among our students. Our members consist of, in the Student Health Advisory Committee, of local health department representatives, school board representatives, school system administrators, school system food folks, physical education teachers, school health professionals, and certainly students, parents, or guardians, or the public are welcome to join as well. We're really excited going into this year because we're really going to focus on some really cool things. We have the opportunity with North Carolina Department of Public Instruction rolling out the new standard course of care for physical education and activity and health. So we are rolling that out. I am so excited today. We had 100% participation from the PE and health department, health teachers today in our professional development. And so they are excited to roll this new one out. They are excited to be looked at and actually heard. So they had a lot of energy today, which was fantastic. This upcoming year, we're going to focus a lot on social, mental, and emotional health, as well as female student health and wellness. Over the years since 2012, in the old standard course of study, they sort of just put everybody in one box, if you will, and didn't realize that we needed to focus a little bit more on females as well, and that females and males have different and unique problems themselves, especially when it comes to student health and wellness. We're also focusing a lot, we're going to be focusing a lot on vaping and electric non-tobacco prevention, because that is now such a prevalent problem in all schools. We'll continue, obviously, to influence students to lead healthy lifestyles and activities that promote wellness as well. Our school nutritional promotion and education, where our universal breakfast for K-5 continues this July 1st, where school nutrition has been updated to for our after-school snacks. That is now in the school lunch program, and that was effective 1 July this year. We've also gone back and looked at all of our concession stands, and we've put in guidelines now that is consistent with Orange County Health Department guidelines, so we make sure our kids stay safe and with all the extra food they eat afterwards in athletic events. Physical education and physical activity. We've already incorporated from kindergarten to 8th grade middle school a great increase in at least 30 minutes a day of activity, as well as in high school, increasing that to 60 minutes a week. Continue to work on that and really push health as well, not just the physical activity. And also, as you may be aware, we just recently mandated that we put a fitness program back in, or a fitness assessment. The state now is looking at determining which one they would like to use, and we'll implement that as well. So we're very excited about this year, especially with Student Health Advisory Committee. We've got a lot of plans going on. We've partnered with the folks you're getting ready to hear on a mental health update. Very excited about that, as we had them come out today and talk to PE teachers as well. And just excited to partner and put everything together to make it better for our students. So at this time, any questions that I can answer for you?
Ms. Smiley?
Great, yes, thank you for the update, and I'm glad it was a great day today. A very simple logistical question. I'm going to be on the SHAC committee now, and so when are those meetings, like, am I going to just get added to an email about the meetings and stuff? I'll get an email, okay.
We are actually working on the schedule now. We should have those, we want to increase it to monthly, so we will see if that really happens. But we're currently working on the schedule with about 3 different partners, trying to figure out everybody's schedule.
Awesome, okay. And then the new standard course of study, or the update to the standard course of study for healthful living, or whatever it is called. What is our health curriculum right now? Like, do we have a specific curriculum that we're using?
We do. It's been there all along. This is just a much more updated version of it. It really includes like vaping prevention as well. It used to, in 2012, we only talked about drug and alcohol. Now, obviously, we're going to encompass way more than that, as well as, like I mentioned, the female health concerns, as well as emotional and mental health.
Yep,
So-
but that's not the course of study, like, not the standards, but do we have a curriculum, like out-of-a-box curriculum or something like that we're using at the middle school or the high school level, or how are we addressing, like, the health standards?
We do not, and that was one of the things we addressed today, that we don't really have a curriculum. I have about 4 PE people and health people within our school district that is coming together to develop just that in our PLCs over this year.
Okay.
The good thing about this is, this year, we're just trying to implement it. We have actually a 5-year plan to put it in place and sort of craft it the way it works out best for Orange County schools.
Okay. And some of the pieces that are especially on my mind and that I want to make sure students get accurate information for are like comprehensive sex ed, like a high-quality sex ed kind of curriculum. I know that at different points we've worked with the Poe Center on like puberty stuff. There's different, we've done some different programs. There's been some, the Orange County Rape Crisis Center has some programming, I think. So I'm not sure whether we're currently partnering with them or, I just think like, I want to make sure that, I'm glad that there is a set of teachers that are going to be working on this, and I just really want to make sure that it's like we're using like high-quality evidence-based curriculum.
Yes, we had a grant with Poe Center, like you mentioned, and it ended this past year, and so of course we don't have that. We went back to teaching that aspect of physical education and health from our teachers, because it's been in the curriculum all along. But we do need to develop one that we like for us and what our kids need. So that is also part of that plan. And I'd love for the Student Health Advisory Committee to get involved with that as well. It'd be awesome.
Thank you.
Just to add on that a little bit, is the Poe Center not offering as many grants now? Have they had reduced monies for grants, or, because that has been a long-standing partnership we've had. My kids have graduated.
I don't have a good answer for that, if they're offering it or not. That's something we certainly can look at again. I know the teachers enjoyed it, that's for sure, and it was very beneficial.
Yeah. And then I'm curious about what you're talking about with more focus on female students. Is that like at every tier, or do we know exactly how that's going? Is that still under development, or?
It is still under development, but it is at every tier.
Okay.
Everything that's unique to females.
Thank you.
Yeah, simple question. There are some community organizations that are offering after-school programs for our kids, and I was curious if they would have access to the nutritional guidelines, because they're also providing snacks for the kids. They're outside organizations, like the community centers. I think we have a program at Gateway with our New Hope kids. So just curious if the guidelines that you've set up are available.
Yes, they are available, and there are groups that we have already looked at. Like, I hope this year we're going to partner with a lot of other folks, because, it is a team effort, obviously, and we got to be able to do that throughout our community. So fingers crossed that it's going to work out.
And Mr. Newman, I think if they were to contact the health department, they would get the same guidelines.
Yes, that
That's
is
where our
correct.
guidelines came from.
That's why
so-
we went, that's why I went, one of the first things was to make sure we are following all the health department guidelines.
So we should we should send people to the health department.
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
Just one question for me. You had mentioned vaping as a large concern, and my time on the board is definitely a big concern. In fact, being in the middle schools, other students have asked me about, how, what can we do, because it's very prevalent. We did see a program that was brought to us, the ADAPT program that's at Orange High, which looks at not being punitive, but supportive and helpful in the students and letting them share their challenges and struggles and getting them support. I'm curious, as we look across our schools, how are we looking at kind of addressing the vaping and being more inclusive of the student in this very, very tragic device that's in our
Yes,
schools?
unfortunately, you are correct. But I will say that that program that's going on in sort of a pilot or initial stages at Orange has been fantastic.
Yes, it has.
As we talked about that this past year in Student Health Advisory Committee, we would like to actually incorporate that across the board. There's some plans to do that. There's some talks about doing that as well.
Note, with our new enhanced security system, we have vape detectors in all of our secondary schools. So coupled with the program, hopefully that will make some headway on that issue.
Thank you.
So the only secondary part to that is I hope through this, we come up with plans to educate the parents. Because it was very eye-opening the first time they brought in vape devices and we were able to see them. And I know I was stunned at some of the devices. And, the other thing that ADAPT really came across that I could relate with is how to talk to your kids about it. And I think, making sure we're inclusive of our community in that discussion, I think will help, especially, as we try to figure out what's the right balance and trying to be restorative as we find students vaping because, it is addictive and they're going to need help beyond, being punitive. So I hope we look at ways at being very restorative through those challenges as we.
Yes, and
find
part
them.
of the program that's underway at Orange is actually involving the school psychologists as well and the parents and bringing them in instead of being punitive, like you mentioned. It's more of a, how can we support this?
Excellent. Thank you very much. We appreciate the update.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have under our discussion action, the mental health plan update and approval.
Good evening to our members of our school board, Dr. Jones, cabinet and OCS staff, as well as community members. Good evening. We are here before you today to discuss and request approval for our school-based mental health plan. I do realize that we stand between you and your homes, and so we will try our very best to be as quick as possible, but be as thorough in our information sharing this evening. So as we're looking at our priorities and our strategic plan and how this mental health plan aligns, we'll look closely to strategic plan priority 4, which is empowering culture, specifically goals 1 and 2 around out-of-school suspensions and reducing chronic absenteeism. Looking at the purpose and overview of this mental health plan, it is required annually by the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction and grounded in North Carolina School Board of Education Policy SHLT 003. It's guided by a statewide template and centers the mental health and emotional and social development of our students as essential to academic success and well-being. This plan, again, as I mentioned before, is structured around state templates. So we have been shared information on the questions, the proper questions to ask, and information to share in this plan. We align our local efforts with state policy, national best practices, and multi-tiered system of supports through district level and school level collaboration. Our vision is aligned with our district mission and vision as well. We're committed to whole child support, and this plan reflects a multi-pronged approach to get there. Our goals in student support services, as well as those in educators, are to make sure that we are serving our students so that they are healthy, they are active, and ultimately they are achieving while they are with us in school. And so we continue to align our goals of this mental health plan to our district plan, strategic plan, our mission and vision to make sure that we are doing the best that we can to serve our students academically, socially, and emotionally. And now you'll hear some of the components for our plan.
All right, so good evening. The next set of slides outline the key sections of our required district mental health and social emotional learning plan that will be submitted to the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. Each section reflects a different component of how we support student wellness. All right, strengths and needs. So we use data from the Youth Risk Behavior Survey, Panorama, Say Something, and internal reports. Our strengths include our school-based mental health network, our social emotional learning curriculum, structured psychotherapy for adolescents responding to chronic stress, also known as SPARCS, and staff professional development. Our needs include more trauma-informed training, restorative practices, and reentry protocols. It's also important to understand that the alignment and that research shows that restorative practices foster belonging and reduce exclusionary discipline, which is directly linked to improve academic outcomes and reduce suspension rates. All right, moving on to prevention and curriculum highlights. So Rethink Ed is implemented district-wide to support Tier 1 social and emotional learning. Youth Mental Health First Aid is required for all specialized instructional support personnel, which are our counselors, social workers, nurses, and our psychologists. And it's offered as optional professional development to other staff. Teen Mental Health First Aid is also taught to all ninth graders. We're also expanding our alcohol and drug abuse prevention team, which the teenagers actually decided last year to rename it the Awareness, Development, Advocacy, and Prevention Team, which is what we call ADAPT, to all secondary schools, reinforcing the importance of early substance use prevention. Other efforts are also included on the screen and are all grounded in research on building protective factors and reducing risk behaviors. All right, moving on. How are you building and aligning infrastructure? So we have a comprehensive training plan and a suicide risk protocol. We're assessing specialized instructional support personnel staffing levels to ensure that adequate support at every school. Stakeholders, including our families and community partners, are engaged in this work to help us build aligned and responsive systems to meet the mental health needs of our students.
And how do we monitor and evaluate this information? So another piece of our required part of this report is the Specialized Instructional Support Personnel Annual Report, which is also a new aspect to our mental health plan. This report, our counselors, social workers, nurses, and school psychologists all are collecting data weekly throughout the year on services that they are providing to our students. And so there are a number of areas that covers, such as covering basic needs, providing clothes and supplies, making parent contacts and doing certain interventions, as well as collecting how many students that are identified under special populations are receiving these services as well. It is not collecting personal information, so we do not know the students' names, their grades, or any of that information. It is raw data. It is just numbers, almost, for lack of a better term, a tally sheet of when those services are provided. And this is included with our mental health plan as a piece of information of what we are doing in our district, as well as an advocacy tool for our state leaders to be able to see what we're doing and know what we're doing as well. So as we're collecting this information and preparing to send this report to DPI, I wanted to give you a sneak peek of what those numbers look like. Again, this is by incident. It is not by total numbers of students. And because it is so robust, I could not put it in a chart for you, but I did want to share some highlights with you about that report. So under cases, looking at basic needs. So again, meeting basic needs. Last year, because it was not required, we wanted to do a pilot to prepare our staff for this report because, again, it is robust. So this data is from January 1, 2025 until June 6, 2025, covering basic needs under our cases. And again, this is just the number of cases, and it could be repeated by student. 389 incidents of basic needs being met for students. Under interventions, family contact. So anytime a family was contacted or had a need for a student, 2,118 parent-family contacts were made. Under referrals, so anytime referrals were made to different agencies for assistance and services, in this case, mental health care, 78 referrals under mental health care. And then special populations, so working with those students that are identified in our special population areas. For this particular number, again, for our exceptional children, 887 cases or incidents of services were provided to students who are identified under exceptional children. Again, these numbers are not students, but cases or incidents of services that are provided to those students. And all of this will be compiled and submitted with our mental health plan. Starting this year, it is an annual report. So starting the first day of school, so July 16th for Hillsborough Elementary and August 25th for our traditional schools, all of our specialized instructional support personnel will begin to collect this data so that we can submit it with the report every year. Additionally, we'll have a data evaluation plan, and this is just how we collect all of the information that we're looking to look at whole child. So, for example, looking at when we're doing our panorama surveys, as well as looking at attendance data, looking at discipline data, and so on and so forth, which was included in the abstract. You'll see of every month of the year or quarterly where we'll be collecting that information to take a look at what needs are needed, how we need to change the services that we're providing, if we need to change the services we're providing, so that we're making sure that we're meeting the needs of our students effectively. And we'll be checking in with our student instructional support staff to make sure that we can provide any technical assistance that they may need, as well as helping them and supporting them with providing those services to our students.
All right. How do you align STL and school mental health with academic objectives? So Rethink Ed is integrated into our multi-tiered system of support, helpful living, as well as in-school suspension and restorative sessions. Physical education and health, teachers received required training earlier today during our Stars of Education conference. Optional training sessions were also made available to all other staff during the conference and will be available throughout the school year. All staff will also receive a new scope and sequence for the 25-26 school year. Additionally, ISS coordinators received their first day of training today from Boomerang on restorative practices. These steps are extremely important as research shows social-emotional learning directly impacts academic outcomes and school climate. Students with strong SEL skills perform better academically, have fewer conduct issues, and experience less emotional distress. Physical activity in the classroom. So it has been confirmed that physical activity improves focus, behavior, and overall cognitive function, especially when it's integrated into the classroom routines. Physical activity strategies vary by level, as you see on the screen, so from yoga and brain breaks in elementary to movement-based discussions and Ridge Panther time in high schools, which all support student regulation and engagement. Early intervention. So we track attendance, behavior, and social-emotional learning indicators through our multi-tier system of support to identify students in need. Supports include check-ins, groups, and referrals, and we regularly review our crisis and discipline policies to ensure that they are trauma-informed and equitable. All right, treatment, referral, and reentry. So we work with community partners and our school-based mental health providers for care. We have a reentry protocol and work to ensure smooth transitions and wraparound support for students returning to school with equity and accessibility in mind. We understand the value in collaborating with our community partners to support and reach every student, ensuring that there's constant care and expanding that network of support beyond the school walls. And our school-based mental health. So providers are assigned by feeder pattern to ensure consistent access. This year, we've added Andrews Counseling and Daybreak Health as another in-person and virtual option. You all received an agency update from me this past May, and will receive the same information in June with updated data on numbers and referrals. Our goal is to maintain strong, responsive access to care for every student in every single building.
As we close, I want to emphasize that this plan is more than a requirement. It's a reflection of our district's commitment to whole child wellness. It's grounded in equity, informed by real data, and aligned with our vision of supporting every student every day. We've built on our strengths, identified clear needs, and brought together partners across schools, families, and community agencies. This is about creating a sustainable, caring system where students are not just surviving, but thriving, academically, emotionally, and socially. Centering student voice, supporting staff wellness, and building systems of care is how we create the future our students deserve. And so, it is our humble request that you approve our 2025 Orange County Schools Mental Health Plan. And upon your approval, this plan will be submitted to the Department of Public Instruction for their review and approval as well. Thank you. Any questions?
Ms. Doyle?
Thank you so much. This is like a very multifaceted plan, and I know a lot of these approaches overlap, and that's kind of the point so that students don't get lost when they're struggling. I have a couple just specific questions. They're brief questions. And I know that not every initiative can be like in every classroom because it's just too much and tracking every type of data. But just, I'm curious, the need of trauma-informed practices, more training. I'm curious like what the goal is on how many and which staff members would you want to be trauma-informed?
If I had a magic wand, Ms. Doyle, I want every single staff member in Orange County Schools to be able to get that. But just with timing, funding, all of that. Right now, our focus is, of course, our student support staff, so making sure that our SISPs have that training and are available with that. Also, just today, because we're doing our training, was able to give them some literature on that and some books around trauma-informed care as well. But we'll have them to deep dive into that training with the hopes of them being able to share that wealth with their staff and then build on getting everyone else trained as well.
I have two more like that, but I can wait if you want to do others first.
Yeah, I wanted to just jump on the overlap. You know, it's just great to see this stuff. Thank you for this work. I think the plan looks fine. The question is the overlap, and so, like the mental health first aid is I heard you say we're doing that with the counselors and social workers. So we have kids in class every day with teachers. Who is noticing that there's a challenge, and how does, you know, and I don't know which acronym or which program is informing that. So, you know, but that's where it starts, right? Somebody's noticed that there's a problem, and then they send the process going.
So there were two sets that we spoke about today. So we spoke about youth mental health first aid, that is for the adults. So all of our student support staff, our SISPs, are trained in that. And for those that are new to us, will be trained in it. Myself and Mr. Kearns Pickett are certified trainers in mental health first aid and intend on getting into our school buildings to train it as well. But I will say it is about a 6.5-hour training. Right. And because it is quite lengthy, again, there's scheduling and things involved where we need to work with school schedules and staff schedules and other PD schedules to be able to get that in. But our folks are trained, as well as we're training our high school students as well in teen mental health first aid, so that they are able to see that. We're training freshmen. Thankfully, last year, we were given the green light from our national center to be able to train ninth graders. And so every year, we will train ninth grade. So in, 3 years now, because we're in year 2, students grades 9 through 12 will be trained in it and will be able to recognize those signs and symptoms and know how to report it effectively.
And I'll just add that our teachers are trained in that way as well. So they make referrals for the counseling department, and they're able to intervene as needed.
I did want to add too that youth mental health first aid is also offered as professional development for our staff. So that's for teachers, principals, whoever would like to sign up for it.
Right. This is a long
day.
Yeah.
But a good day.
All right, Ms. Stoll?
Yes, so that was one of them as well. And also, I just was curious, is ADAPT going into all schools? And once upon a time when my kids were in some of these schools, we also had the DARE program. Is the DARE program still there? Are they just kind of working side by side? Or is it all, are we doing fully ADAPT and not partnering with DARE?
So ADAPT will be, the goal is to get it in our middle schools and high schools. There was once upon a time where it was in all of our middle school and high schools in our district. Due to staff turnover, it's been hard to kind of keep staff in those positions. And so I've spoken to admin as well as our counseling and social workers today about getting that started back up. I'll be sending out emails so they understand it's coming and getting them partnered with Orange Partnership. We do not have DARE. We have SAVE clubs, which are Students Against Violence Everywhere, which I think might be similar to that, but they work closely with our ADAPT. So any of our schools who are using our Say Something anonymous reporting system should also have a SAVE club in their schools.
And we're also working with Orange Partnership, who has created a list of platforms and curriculum items that we share with the schools every year, so that they are able to continue in those lessons similar to what DARE would provide.
Spani?
Thank you for this presentation and the plan, and it's very comprehensive. Appreciate the data points from the pilot of the tallying system, and it clearly is an effort, but I think it's going to be good advocacy for school professionals in terms of the volume of work that they are managing and stuff like that. One question I have, one of the things that you mentioned, Mr. Kearns-Pickett, was involving families in sort of, I don't know, not evaluating the program, but like improving it or something like that. Like how are you involving families in improving our approach to mental health?
Absolutely. So we, I believe it's called Orange Partnership. We have it's a group of providers in the area, Orange County, Hillsborough, that consists of community partners, staff members, and families. And we meet every single month, talk about our needs, assessment, what's going on, what's happening, what's not happening, so we can kind of come to a consensus on what we need to improve on or what's already going well in Orange County schools.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for the work you're doing, and it's much needed. I just like, please, to have an example as to what a basic need is. I have my own interpretation, but I'd like for you to give me just one example. Thank you.
Sure. So meeting a basic need might be clothing. It might be food insecurity. It could be needing hygiene items. So it's anything meeting the basic human needs are examples of those things.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Hauser?
I'm not sure if I wasn't paying attention, but this is the first time I've seen MTSS, the social emotional side of MTSS, really folded into the plan. That's really exciting to see. I wanted to thank you for that. I was curious if we're going to see that in the school improvement plan and if they'll be integrated into this plan.
Yes.
Nice. Oh, he's certain. I guess we are. Great.
All right. Any further questions? I wanted to thank you as well for including all the acronyms and terms. That is very helpful, especially given there are plenty. So thank you for that. This is an action item, board. So do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you for your support and for your action tonight.
Great job.
All right, we are at the end of our agenda. I believe there's not a closed session necessary. So with that, do we have a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. Have a great night.